This video is on literal equations and it is 1.4 in our textbook. So literal equations, it asks what is a literal equation? Now, a literal equation is an equation that has two or more variables, and how you solve a literal equation is that you want to always get that variable by itself, and how you do that is using inverse operations. So just solving like one-step and two-step or multi-step equations, you're going to be doing the same thing, but there will be multiple variables within the equation. Now we're going to try some one-step equations to start off. They have these recall questions above that are going to resemble what we're looking for. In this case, we have solve for A. So we want to get A by itself. So it's A plus B equals C. So I'm going to circle the one that we want to get by itself, which is A. Now, how we're going to get A by itself is this addition. So inverse operation is going to be subtraction. So we're going to subtract B from both sides. I'm going to bring down that A. So I get A equals, and then it's going to be C minus B. It's going to be my final answer. So all I did is subtracted the C from the B, or I subtracted B from C, which got me A equals C minus B. That's my final answer. Now this one, they want you to solve for D. So I'm going to circle D because that's what I'm trying to solve for. So I want to get D by itself, so I want to isolate that variable. I'm going to add E on both sides. So I get D equals F plus E. It doesn't matter the order in which you do this. With the F plus E, it's just saying that you can't combine these together, so that's why they are separate. So you would leave it as D equals F plus E. Now, example of one-step equation for multiplication. This is C equals 2 pi r, and you want to get r by itself. 2 times pi times r, so how we can get rid of that is divide by 2 pi. On one side, what you do to one side, you always have to do to the other. So I'm going to drop down, I have C over 2 pi equals r. So I'm going to circle that because now I have r by itself, and that's what my goal was. So I isolated my variable, and I'm going to leave it as that because I cannot simplify any further. I have solve for m, so I'm going to circle m because that's which variable I'm trying to isolate. If you notice that this operation is division, so to get m by itself, I want to multiply each side by v. Now what I do to one side, I always do to the other. So I have d times v equals m. And that would be my final answer because I got m by itself. We're going to now try multi-step equations. And with that, you're trying to get y by itself, so I'm going to circle that. Now, like multi-step, you want to undo the subtraction or addition first. So in this case, I have this term, and this term. So I have 3 terms. I want to get rid of this whole term right here because I want to try to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. So I have 2y equals, now I'm going to write this as 6 minus 5x. I still want to get y by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. So I'm going to divide each of these by 2. I'm going to be left with y equals, now I have 6 divided by 2, which is 3. I have negative 5 divided by 2, which I can just leave as negative 5 halves x. I have y by itself, so that is my final answer. This next one, I have solve for L. So I have S equals pi times r squared plus pi times r times L. So I'm going to try to solve for L. So I want to get rid of this. So I have basically 2 terms here, 3 counting the s. So I'm going to get rid of this whole term, so I'm going to subtract by pi r squared. So what I do to one side, I always do the other. So I have s minus pi r squared equals pi r, and then I have L. I notice that this is pi times r times L, and I still want to get L by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by pi r. Divide both sides by pi r. I'm going to bring down that L. So I have L equals s minus pi r squared over pi r. I'm going to leave that as my final answer because now I have L by itself, and that was my end goal. 2 more examples. So this one we want to solve for f. So we have f right here. I want to get rid of this 5/9 first before, so I don't want to start distributing or anything. I just want to get rid of that 5/9. So how I get rid of that 5/9 is I'm going to multiply this side by 9/5 and this side by 9/5. So I get 9/5 c equals, I can get rid of those parentheses now, so I have f minus 32. I want to get rid of this negative 32, so I'm going to use my inverse operation and add by 32. So I want to bring that down, so 9/5 c plus 32 is equal to f. I have f by itself, so that is my final answer. This last one I have w, so I want to get w by itself. So in this case I have this term and this final term over here. So I have 3 terms. I'm going to subtract by 2L on both sides because I want to get w by itself. So I have p minus 2L equals 2w. To get w by itself, I want to divide 2 on both sides. Okay. You can look at it as like p divided by 2 minus 2L divided by 2 equals w. So p minus 2L, this is going to cancel, so I have p over 2 minus L equals w. So that would be my final answer. I'd circle it, and I got w by itself.